What up, everybody? Another episode of Fowler Behind the Wheel. I got some bad news today, and it's in regards to SFI, my lease. I'd already put down my $500 deposit on a Freightliner that I was hoping and supposed to get around March. Before we get into that, it's been a couple of days up here in Ohio at this shop terminal, and basically, I've now found out that it is company policy that these trucks do not idle. It is against company policy unless you have a CPAP machine, which I do not. A lot of the trucks here, like my old truck, it straight idled. And I found out the reason that it did that and why some trucks here still might is because when COVID was at its height, it was company policy that mechanics could not get in the truck. All they could do is climb in the truck, make it to where it idles all the time, and send a driver on out. So basically, there's no really getting around that. Some trucks here have opti idle. I think some trucks here still have APU units on them. They're doing away with APU units. Any new truck's not going to have an APU unit. Any new truck's not going to have an EPU unit. Any new truck is not going to be able to idle. Any new truck is not going to be able to opti-idle. It is a strict no idle company. You do have an S-bar bunk heater to keep you warm, but other than that, you're pretty screwed. I don't like that. I think that should be illegal. So here's the rundown. Talked to a mechanic up here who also agrees that, the way they have these trucks is set up is stupid. He hates them. He actually told me that he feels bad for us, but so below 30-something degrees and above 60-something degrees, those are the only times that the trucks will idle. And while it idles, you have continuous power. It's not running straight off the battery. It's running off the motor. You have air. You have heat. You don't have to worry about, if you get a refrigerator in your truck, or, a plug-in cooler or whatever, that stuff, if the batteries go dead, they'll lose power. As y'all know, if you've seen my breakdown video, where I spent 9 hours in 43-degree temperatures, my bunk heater didn't even work in that truck. So I was screwed for that 9 hours in 43-degree temperatures. So I gotta wait until it goes down to 30-something degrees in order to, be able to idle the truck. Now, if the truck broke down and the motor couldn't run the motor, that's one thing. At least if it was to happen in this truck that I'm in now, this new truck, the bunk heater would, work. And this ain't like a brand spanking new truck. They just put me in another piece of crap. But it should be illegal for trucks to be ran this way. Unfortunately, it's not. I mean, there is an OSHA something or other, but OSHA is not law, just like the CDC is not law. So law is law. When the truck gets down to about 12 volts left in the batteries, the instrument cluster is going to get pissed off with you. It's the LVD is going to come on, and if you're lucky enough to wake up and hear that, I wouldn't. It's hard as hell for me to wake up, and it's just as hard for me to go back to sleep. But if you wake up and hear that going off, it's beeping and chirping like crazy, annoying the hell out of you, you better get your ass up here and turn this truck on and charge them batteries. And I don't know how long it usually takes for an alternator to charge batteries, but you want to get it back up to around 13 to 14 volts. And better hope and pray that it stays there for the remainder of your sleep. Basically what the shop guy told me was, hopefully you ran all day and your batteries are fully charged, and it won't have that problem, because he said it's meant to run off the truck batteries and last like 10 hours, so your entire rest break. So the truck is not going to start on its own to automatically charge the batteries, opti-idle. So you have to get out of bed, you have to disturb your sleep, come up here, charge the batteries. For somebody like me who has trouble going back to sleep once they've been woken up, because once I'm awake, I'm awake. Depending on how long it takes for them batteries to get charged, I might be up. I'll go inside, use the bathroom. I might be hungry, go in and get something to eat. By that point, it's too late. I might lay back down in the bed and just roll all the rest of my time over. I'm screwed. And that's not safe. It's also a very big safety hazard. If you have not gotten enough sleep to get up and drive another 8 to 11 hours, however much you drive, and you've only slept for 5, 6, 7 hours, it ain't nothing for somebody like me to sleep the whole 10-hour clock. It ain't. But that is a very big safety hazard. And all these big truck companies that you go to, they'll preach about safety. Safety's number one. Blah, blah, blah. It ain't here. Can't idle your truck. Hopefully your bunk heater works. Heaven forbid it's hot outside. But it ain't at the temperature to idle your truck yet. You're not going to have any air. I like for air to be blown on me while I sleep, because I get really hot when I sleep. You don't have no air. It don't matter if it's warm air, room temperature air, or cold air, whatever. You're not going to have it. You'll stay warm in the wintertime with the bunk heater if it's working. Heaven forbid that your batteries, go dead, But no refrigerator, but they preach about driver health and orientation. So you're forced to eat truck driver food. And now there's this, where you ain't gonna sleep worth of shit. Now, yeah, there's truck drivers here that are doing it, and I don't care about them. I'm talking about me. This is about me. Not everybody sleeps the same. Not everybody is the same type of person. Some people function better with less sleep than others. Some need more sleep than usual to function right. I mean, that's just how a person is. And for me, I can do my job with 5-6 hours of sleep, but within those 5 to 6 hours of sleep, I'm getting good sleep. Now, last night it dropped down to like 40 something degrees outside, and the bunk heater stayed working, so at least I was, decently warm. But it just felt unnatural to me. So now I got to get used to a truck not even moving. That nice hum of the motor, the engine rocking. That used to just put me right to sleep. Now it's just nothing, dead silence. So I'm not at all happy with this company. But that's enough about that. Do with it what you will. Let's talk about SFI. I lost my lease today. It's not SFI's fault. I put money down on a Freightliner. And across the world, Daimler Freightliner, it's like they're scaling back production or something. It's got to be because of these microchip shortages or something. But my wait time went from March to like another year or two. So I could have left my $500 there, and whenever something came available, it would have been mine. But with what's been going on with me here, that $500 is something that I can't afford to just let sit. I actually took that out of an open-end loan that I already have open, so I'm getting that back, and I'm putting it back into the loan. Like I never even took it out. So unfortunately, I have to cut my ties with SFI. And it's not like I can just go somewhere else and try and get a Freightliner. SFI still has Volvos coming in, VNL 860s. But those are very expensive. My buddy Hunter is getting a VNL 860 Volvo from SFI. And it's like $4,000. Now, you get up to $2,500. You get a $1,500 sign-on bonus coming to USA, and then you can loan another $1,000 to help with the payment of the truck. That covered me for the Freightliner. I had to fork over $500. So that helped me. When it comes to a Volvo, if you're getting $2,500, you better find another $1,500. And I just don't have that right now. And yeah, I'd love to get a VNL 860. I love those trucks. They are awesome. And Hunter's truck's going to have the breakfast nook on the bottom bunk, that little fold-up area. I'm a really big fan of the Volvo refrigerators. They're freaking huge. I think they're the biggest refrigerators that any truck manufacturer makes. They're really comfortable trucks. They really are. But they do come with Volvo motors. And Volvo dealerships are the only ones that will work on them. And Volvo dealerships are not the most common dealerships. That's really like the main reason why I didn't get the Volvo, other than not being able to afford the down payment. But if anything were to happen and I'm not near a Volvo shop, it's going to cost me a lot of money to get towed. So, kind of weighing my options there. Now, I have seen some, drivers out here, and, they got Volvo Lease trucks. And being that they're brand new trucks, it's less likely to break down or something real major go wrong with it. Plus, you get all these nice warranties and everything. So, you just got to weigh your options. But the unfortunate fact is that I lost my lease today. That was, given everything else I've been through, that was not a phone call that I was wanting to hear. But it's not SFI's fault. You'll be seeing something about this on the news if you pay attention to the news. Everybody who's got a Freightliner waiting list with SFI right now is going to be getting a phone call. You know, you're not going to get it. This is a global thing. It's not an SFI thing or just an America thing. This is global. So I can't just go anywhere else and try and find a Freightliner. You know, if somebody's got one right now, and I was just lucky enough to call in and reserve it at just the right time, you know, that'd be one thing. But, you know, nobody's going to have Freightliners here for a little while. And SFI on their website says that they have Freightliners, Volvos, Peterbilts, Kenworths, and Internationals. But in all honesty, they only have Freightliners, Internationals, and Volvos. Volvo, Freightliner, and International. And it's still a wait list. It is still a wait list for all of them. So I'm not happy with this company at USA because of all of the things they preach about in orientation, and then they just don't give you no amenities in these trucks. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's a multi-million-dollar a year company. I think last year they grossed like $4 million. And they're unwilling to at least give you opti-idle and a refrigerator. I've never been with a company that has such. I was at a flatbed company before I came here, and their trucks were set up the same way, where they would only idle at a certain temperature. Anything in between that, it wouldn't. But they had an APU unit on the back. So while the truck wasn't idling off the main motor, you were idling and getting power, heat, and air off of the APU unit. I'm fine with that, but they're getting rid of all this stuff. Can't idle the truck. Can't do nothing. No refrigerator, so you can't bring your own food out on the road and eat healthy. You know, I like to cook in my truck. Can't do that here. I got a microwave. Might work with like popcorn and soup. Really, about my only option right now is either I can stay here and be miserable, I can go work somewhere else, or I can wait for Pro Lease to have a truck available. Pro Lease is like a sister company to USA. It is a truck leasing company. They get all their trucks that they lease out from USA. When USA decommissions a truck, they'll send it over to Pro Lease to be leased out. Now, Charlie at Pro Lease is who you'll talk to if you ever fill out an application with him. Charlie's an awesome guy. I ain't heard one bad thing about Charlie. I've heard stories that Charlie really tries to, you know, make sure that it works for you. And, you know, Pro Lease was who I was going to go with before I really started weighing the options of, you know, well, these older trucks and blah, 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 you know, they'll have problems, whereas a new truck won't have as many problems as a used truck. So I decided just to outweigh my options and go with a new truck. Well, now that's gone. So I'm seriously thinking about just waiting for Pro Lease. Charlie is saying that it's going to be, you know, probably February of next year before a truck's ready for me, which is, you know, fine. See, it's October, November, December, January. It's like 2-3 months, 2.5. Be about a month earlier from when I was supposed to get my Freightliner. But y'all have seen my videos here, and you've seen the kind of luck that I've had and the things that I've had to put up with. So I really am not looking forward to just staying here and, trying to get by until then. I mean, yeah, I could go work somewhere else, and when my truck's available, I can just come pick up my truck and go do the lease. But it's just a lot of hassle. I've gotten a newer truck, so I'm gonna at least try and see if this truck will stay running long enough for me to make some money. That's pretty much all I can do. I hate that all this has happened just to get to this point, but it's not necessarily over yet. So we're going to try our best to see where we can get. And if it works out, then awesome, great. There's a lot of people who got trucks from Pro Lease, and they're doing just fine. My buddy Joe, whose YouTube channel is Dirt Road Salvation, he's in a Pro Lease truck. Yeah, it's an older truck. It's got more miles. And, he's had to fix it here and there, but it's a used truck. So they will require a little bit more attention, but as long as it runs good enough to start building up your maintenance fund, then you'll be good to go. And it is a bit of a cheaper weekly payment at least, so that'll help out too, especially in my situation. So I should be able to pay it off within like 2 to 3 years, I'm hoping, which will be great too. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna give it a shot. At this point, I ain't got nothing else to lose, so we'll see what happens, guys. I'm gonna get off here and relax a bit, and we'll see you on the next one. Y'all have a good night. Please like and subscribe. Hit the bell notification. Help me out. I need it. Y'all just pray for me out there in reality world. So we'll see you next time.